Good evening and welcome to our October 19th, 2023 Park Commission meeting. I will let everybody know that LakeCAM is recording. Is there anybody else recording our meeting? No? This is an extra special Parks Committee meeting. We have all of our seats filled tonight because the Fire Station Building Committee is joining us and they are first on our agenda. So welcome everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I can, Madam Chair, I'd like to call the Fire Station Building Committee meeting to order at 7 p.m. And if you'd oblige us to we'll go around just so that we can introduce ourselves so that you have an idea of who we are and So, Chief, if you wouldn't mind.
Michael Bryan, Fire Chief.
Peter Conroy, Member at Large.
Taylor McDonald. I'm with Palmer Associates for the Owner's Project Manager.
Lorraine Carboni, Lakeville Select Board.
Nate Donnelly, Building Commissioner.
Matt Simon, Member at Large.
Larry Costan, Finance Committee. Ari Sky, Town Administrator.
Mike McCullough, Member at Large.
Would you like us to do it too?
Yes.
I think Peter, you want to start?
Peter Murray, the Clerk.
Michael Smith, Commissioner.
Melissa Turcott, Commissioner.
Paula Houle, Commissioner.
Scott Holmes, Commissioner.
Well, thank you very much for having us here this evening. I was, glad that we could take this opportunity where we could meet with the Parks Commission and, kind of talk about what we're doing as a Fire Station Building Committee regarding the site location. So we've met quite a few times. We've brought on our OPM, Pomeroy Associates, and I'm glad that Taylor's here with us this evening, so he'll be able to field some of the conversation. Last night we met and we interviewed 3 architect firms, and we voted to recommend to the Select Board for October 30th meeting to bring on Secotio architect firm. And I think that the timing is right to have the conversation with the Parks Commission, because one of the things that we've been charged with is to identify a site location for the future fire station. And back a couple of years ago, there was a feasibility study conducted by a firm, Socotech, that looked at some of the options that might be available to them to include in the study for site locations. And 3 of those locations were on Parks land. And I believe that we had sent over to you prior to this meeting so you'd have a chance to take a look at having a visual of where the locations were identified. So nothing's set in stone. We're kind of not even at that stage yet where we're going to break ground, but I thought it was prudent to have this conversation with the Parks Commission, because you do oversee the Parks land, and where these sites were identified on Parks land, that it would be important to have that conversation with you. And that's why we're here tonight. And if anybody else from the Fire Station Building Committee would like to chime in at any point, please do. But if you look at the, just so that we know exactly what we're talking about here, the first map that we have here, first location would be considered right over here, right on Bedford, and where the entrance to the Parks Commission, the Parks driveway is. The next one would be right next to it. And then the third one is over by the senior center, over in that particular area. Like I said, nothing's been set in stone. These are just identified as potential, sites for the station. And Taylor, I don't know if you have anything that you'd like to add about what the process would be to even vet these sites, to see if they would be something that would even be considered viable.
Sure, yeah. So the study you see was done by a firm in 2000, when was that completed?
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, 2021.
Yeah.
So we're bringing on a new architectural firm and a new civil engineer to look at these sites. So What you see here are really just is 100% diagrammatic. Nothing's been designed. The layout, it'll be 100% different, I can guarantee it. Just take that with a grain of salt. It's really just to show you the area that was looked at in those first stages of the first study done by Socotech. So a new firm would come in, and the first thing they're going to do when they come on board is they're going to do a programming exercise with the department to understand even what the size of the building would be. There is information from the first study, but they're going to go through and do their own. So they want to understand what the size of the building will be, and then they'll need to know what that lot size would be, or the acreage they need for the building. So once they kind of understand that, or kind of on a parallel track, they probably want to do some test pits in those areas to understand the soils, the geotechnical properties of the land, if there's any environmental impacts, things like that. So that's more to come down the line, and we can have more information about that. But there's been no study of these any further than just looking at them and identifying them on the site. So there's no other information about the sites that we have at this time. That would all be part of the architect's job and our job, now that they're on board, to look at them further. So.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Were there any sites looked at that are not on Parks land?
The only other site that they looked at would be the current location. We didn't look anywhere else.
Okay. And is that plan to look anywhere else, or just stick with these sites?
To vet these sites, I mean, there wasn't any discussion to look any further, but, like I said, this committee was charged to identify, a viable location. So we're just kind of starting here.
Okay.
I have a question. Paula, you want to go?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. No, I don't want to be. This is Fire Chief.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
So, I was down here at a site inspection with the town planner, so I actually took these and we walked around. And my biggest question was, and like you said, things can change, was on the one across the way, you have the entrance and the exit facing this way, correct? And I was reading here, on the other thing, it says, entering and exit, Ted Williams Camp entrance is not preferable due to public traffic. So my question is, first, the speed is the same as it is down where you are. It's the same road, correct?
I believe it is, but
Yeah, and the sight line down there is horrible.
true.
But here, if you faced it towards the street, your sight line is what, 3/4 of a mile to the left. You have it all the way there. So and you don't have to worry about bothering people or overthink, all the events here and everything. I don't know about the water situation or whatever, but I think that if it did come down to this, that it would make more sense for it to face out there. I know some places have the warning signs, stop when it's red, but coming out, it's easy that way. So I don't agree with the speed, but I think the sight lines are important. Down there, the sight lines are horrible too.
I would respond to you that I don't disagree with anything you said. I would say that there's so many variables in picking a spot. If all the sites were equal, and I would agree with everything you said and favor the spot that you pointed out. But speaking to some of the things Taylor pointed out, all the variables and all the things that can crash a site or make a site not viable, there's so many things to figure out before we start to pick apart, the benefits or the merits of one particular site.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if I was going to be for anything here, it would have to be something facing this way than this way.
I think you're spot on with your thinking. I think your thought process is correct. I agree with it.
Yeah, and Mike, that's really what the catalyst was to get in front of you guys this evening. So as we look at these other properties, we're going to be doing soil analysis. We're going to be contacting natural heritage. We're going to be looking at wetland implications, things of that nature, sight lines, impact to the parks as far as your operational functionality. So anything that any opinions or input that you can provide during this site analysis will be very beneficial in the long term. So that's really why we're here tonight, is to get that type of feedback, and we'll document it, and we'll make sure that the folks that are analyzing the sites make
candidate. So we've actually already been in contact with the licensed site professional that was on board for this building for Natural Heritage, and they're the go-between with Natural Heritage. We've already talked to them about doing that same thing for us if we were to use, one of the sites around here, because everything is, has to do with box turtles and Natural Heritage. So we've already been in contact with that same person who worked great with us when we did this building here. So
Paul?
Did you say there were 3 sites in the park or 2?
There's 3.
And so one is here, across from the police station.
Actually, there's
Two
two.
are-
Two across
Yeah,
there.
so there's one more toward the front, where Bedford Street is,
Oh, so one in the front and one in the
and
back.
one right further back.
By the skate park.
Yeah.
That's one. And the other one's more towards the corner.
And then the third, here, the CO.
Correct.
it's kind of like 2.5. 2 of them are right in the same area.
You chose another site, would that be the present fire station? Is that
Well,
an option?
that was one that was brought up in the study as well.
Is that being considered?
Well, we're still gonna vet all that out, yes.
Is there a problem with using that site?
They had identified quite a few, concerns. Zone A, I believe, is one of them,
What,
because it's close to the water. Zone A, and help me with this name, I know. Floodplain, water, it's kind of close to the water.
well, so is the present one, is that a
And,
problem?
yeah, it's been a problem.
Pardon me?
There was that flood in 2011, which pretty much cut off the station entirely.
Yeah, in 2010, and this is going into the, evaluation of it. So we are looking at some FEMA flood zones. There is a Zone AE there, it's a AE. And then Zone A is relative to wellhead protection, drinking water supplies, tributaries to drinking water supplies. So, that will have impact on the septic system and increase in flow to the septic system. That's why, we did originally rule out the current location.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yep. Madam Chair, through you. Madam Chair and the rest of the committee, thank you for being here tonight. I have pretty much one question with multiple parts, but have you read the existing deed to this property
I had read it years ago.
and the restrictions on it?
I read it years ago, so I
Okay.
know, the town administrator, I asked if he wouldn't mind, getting his hands on that, because I know that there are some,
Right, and if I may, it states that the property is to be used for municipal purposes of acquiring and developing of municipal outdoor recreation and athletic facilities, not police stations and fire stations.
I know. I recall having these, hearing about these discussions previously, so, and I'm not sure,
Yeah, I'm quite familiar with the deed as well as Senate and House Council's opinion if it's not Article 97 land. So typically, when you have Article 97 land, you're required to seek special legislation to change the use of that property. Like I said, both House Council and Senate Council has confirmed that it's not Article 97. And historically, and Scott, I'm saying this with the utmost respect for the parks. The parks, first and foremost, again, that's why we're here tonight. Don't really want to make this contentious. We're looking for a place to site a fire station. We're asking you guys if you'll get on board with it, share your concerns, figure out where to go from there. We know we cited the COA here, right? We know we cited the library here. We know we cited the police station here. All of that was vetted through council. And so it's appropriate location to site a building if it doesn't have negative impacts on the rest of the functionality of the parks.
Just a comment, you're all aware that Loon Pond Lodge, which is on our property, that it's a mainstay of our finances. And this is going to be a very noisy place, and especially if you have an event going on. And I'm concerned as to how it will impact our budget, our money coming into the park when you have, fire engines going off and you got a wedding going on, a memorial service or whatever event. It is a concern because we could lose a lot of revenue. And I think it needs consideration.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure.
I'm sorry.
sure- go ahead.
So generally, I know there's a lot of conceptions about what it means to live next to a fire station, and there's a lot of things that can be controlled with policy. There's things that can be controlled with even the selection of a traffic light. So I think people watch a television show and they see firefighters stomp on the siren and the air horns as soon as they haven't even left the building yet, and that's less than accurate. And there's things that I can do as a fire chief to control the amount of noise and even when that noise takes place, or when it, if they're checking equipment could be checked during certain times, things like that. There's policies that I can make about when and how much to use sirens. There's things that we can do to manage and be a better neighbor to whoever we're living next to.
I had thought about that before. I mean, aren't most of your calls during the week EMS more than their fire?
62% of our calls are EMS.
Right, so that's not as much noise or whatever. But I'm sorry, I'm going back to the envelope of this. The water, if we do water, is there a well here? Is it tapped into here? Would have to go down. Where would the water come from for that area?
It would there would probably have to be an extension of the water main.
Okay, and this is septic anyway, so it has to be tied into this, or would it have to have another septic put in?
That's beyond my expertise.
And most likely have.
Be a septic,
There'd be another septic
Yeah.
there. Okay.
most likely.
And if you did it by the senior center, they already have the water there, right? So you wouldn't have to tap in.
That's correct.
Here would be a matter, this is on city water here, so it'd just be
An extension.
cross, it'd be an extension, but it wouldn't be
Big deal.
Well, you gotta deal with
Super
charge.
big deal.
as big a deal.
As part of this project, the water line was extended down.
And it's a really good question because if I misspeak, please correct me, but I think the motivation isn't to take something away from the parks or make the parks less than. The motivation is knowing that the quality of a fire station has a direct impact on the service we provide, and the service we provide is public safety. So if we've got a quality service, quality building that gets us out the door better, allows us to have better equipment, maybe even attract better personnel, then that's lives saved, that's property saved. It's a benefit it serves the greater good of Lakeville.
Right.
And now, I also, in my perspective, there's a limited amount of money that the town of Lakeville, their taxpayers are going to be willing to invest. And the more we ask for, the less likely this project will succeed. So when we come to the parks, it's not to take something away from you. It's trying to get the best facility we can and provide the best value we can and have the best end product. We're trying to serve the greater good. We're not trying to slight anybody, be disrespectful, or take something away from Lakeville. We're trying to make it better.
Yeah, I think we all understand that, and I think that we all are on board. Think you do need a fire station. I personally think our teachers, our firefighters, our police officers, they're all underappreciated, underpaid, underutilized.
I like
so
you.
we.
I like you all.
I mean, I think we're all on board with that. It's just, again, personally, I feel like once we keep chopping away at the park, this is the biggest piece of land we have in Lakeville, right? So we're gonna chop away and chop away and chop away, and then we're gonna have not much left. And it seems like not much left because it's such a big place, but if you come through here on a Saturday morning during soccer season, you can barely drive your car through. There's kids on bikes, there's dogs being walked, there's soccer players wall to wall in every corner of this place.
And if I may add to what you're saying,
Sure.
because of the fact with the police station being here, we lost approximately 50 parking spaces, or whatever it is. But the cars now park from the corner to the skate park. Both of these sites would take that away. If you ask some of I'm just saying, they're just one group, but some of the soccer parents, where are they gonna park now? They're already parking in the big parking lot. They're already parking across in the dirt parking lot.
They're gonna park down there.
Right, so
I mean, they
just
can't park on
something
the
else to
road.
think about
North
to add,
Fields.
They get a ticket.
to add into your plans is maybe if the fire station does come here, you put in extra parking to help out alleviate this in the back. Maybe that's a compromise that we make. I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't, yeah.
I would like to follow up on Chief O'Brien's safety remark. I think one of the biggest issues that we should all be concerned with is the safety of the children and all the participants that are using the park. We have children that come in that ride their bikes from the road. We have moms pushing baby carriages. We have seniors, God love them, that sometimes are a little slow to react and have other deficits. And I've experienced that right here. Fire truck 50 feet from a senior that never saw or heard them, never looked. However, I think the safety is a valued issue that we should consider, and I would not want to be the person that would have to look at that because of an incident.
Are you a registered nurse? You're a registered nurse, correct?
Are you a registered nurse?
I'm retired.
Yep. All right. So both of us have seen the end result of these accidents, and we have a current policy that we don't use Ted Williams as a cut through for calls. We don't try and save time, and that policy wouldn't change. If even no matter where, if we were fortunate enough to use some of your space, that policy wouldn't change. We wouldn't use we wouldn't use this access road to get to there if we were positioned over there, and vice versa.
Yeah. People still have to access the park, whether they're children or adults. And the fact that you're bringing in fire trucks that are very near our entrance and exit can be a liability. I think you need a fire station, there's no doubt about it. But I really question whether this is the site for a couple different reasons, which I've already stated. And I hope you take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was a lone wolf on this panel. I'm more concerned of the safety of the town.
Yeah.
Tell me the benefits of being next to the police station, and is this a better spot to be because you can reach the town faster, or better routes, or better than being somewhere else? I mean, what are the benefits to the town of being there?
We have, unfortunately, we don't have great data because of the quality of our CAD system. But I can tell you that over 70% of our calls are in our northern two districts, which we're going left out of the fire station there, more than 70% of the time. So any jog to the left or to the north in this town is going to have a significant impact on response times. And the response times to the south aren't going to be outrageously longer. That might even be relatively comparable because of the quality of the building changes. Right now, the building is so narrow that our guys are turning sideways and to go through the vehicles. There's a delay in getting out of the vehicles. We have to exit slowly to prevent our vehicles from colliding with the buildings because our mirrors touch as we leave the building. So these car accidents that occur on our roads, because of the dimensions of our building, our fire trucks have to be in the back row and the ambulance have to be parked in the front of them. So the ambulances leave, and then the engines come out and they have to crawl because any little misjudgment in operating that vehicle results in a collision, and then we can't make the scene. We are not able to respond. So it takes an extra minute for us to get out of the station. That's a minute that we're going to be able to get back if we have a normal fire station with normal dimensions. So what a sweet spot. We get to come north, and so we're closer to the majority of our calls, but we don't really give up much to the south because our building's going to be more efficient. It's going to get us out the door quicker.
Yeah, I mean, my point, like anything else in this town, is that no matter where you put it, you're going to get some kind of a fire. If you do it by the COA, you got homes across the way.
Yeah, that's true.
And people are going to go, well, there goes my property values, or if it's a school. I mean, we can make excuses for everywhere. So I think it's very important that the fire station committee says, we think this is very important here because, and just like you said, you got the north calls, you have everything like this. I mean, the fire station isn't in the middle of the park. I do understand Paul's concerns here, but if they face it this way, you won't see the trucks down here. It's mostly employee parking in the back, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's no different than parking. And if there's not a lot of cars, we can utilize that parking lot.
Or we can modify the
Northfield
plan
is a
to
problem
create more
because
parking.
that
You know,
Right.
I'm not an architect and.
No, I'm just saying if the parking was an issue, we could utilize that parking if there was an overflow. So like I said, everything everyone said here, I agree with, but at the end of the day, it's gonna have to go somewhere. And if it helps the fire department to help the town to save people quicker, I'm for that. And the one question is, what's the benefit of being next door to any?
Other than the fact that we frequently come here, we you know, they deal with prisoners a lot, and prisoners also very frequently have medical needs. The benefit isn't really there. If it was a shared facility, if we had made that decision to do that a while ago, there would have been efficiencies to be realized. And that, you know, but that opportunity is missed, so now we're doing the best we can. So there really isn't any benefit to being in close proximity to the police department.
Is there gonna be a dorm in there too, like you do here?
Absolutely. We have firefighters that work 24-hour shifts. So.
Okay, obviously they're gonna be in better shape, so I was just curious.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like a gym?
No, I'm just talking about, no. I said the rooms are gonna be in better shape.
Oh, I hope.
Well, thank you, you answered mine. You answered mine.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I actually have a question for them, because I'm confused about this whole parking issue that everybody's talking about. If I'm not mistaken, either one of the first two plans right here shows wooded areas, so there's
Grass.
currently no parking there at all.
Grass.
What's that, it's grass?
Grass.
So
Yeah.
people are parking in the grass?
Yeah.
Yes, because we lost over 50 parking spots when this building came here.
So these aren't trees here, these is grass right over here?
There's
Some of it I
couple
see
bushes
right
and a couple
here.
trees,
Okay.
but it's pretty much open and cars park from the skate park all the way down to the corner on a Saturday morning,
Every
sometimes
inch
on
is
Sunday.
full of cars, it's not.
And
Okay.
So if you put a parking lot in next to the site, you can make up the.
Make them,
space.
right, we put a parking lot behind the site, right there, and they still have the fire station. If we're exiting out onto Bedford instead of exiting out the other way, I think that's better for you, then you have to make two left turns, basically.
This shows it exiting into the camp.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
There's a
so,
second.
but
There's
that's,
a second.
it's just,
But it also
yeah.
exits into the camp.
So if they
One
turn
end.
it and exit out to Bedford Street, you know, then the problem's solved there. You don't have anybody coming out, you don't have anybody in danger. You already, I know people talk about sirens, but the police station are firing up the sirens when they're pulling out as well, correct?
They don't pull out of here.
They don't? Where do they come from?
They're out on the street.
Okay,
Most times they're out on the street.
I'm, all right, it doesn't matter. So I'm saying is that, so if they turn this plan sideways, and that's something that can feasibly be done, correct?
Anything can be done at this
Right.
point, yeah.
Put it, exit out onto Bedford Street, you had a parking lot behind it, is the problem solved?
Possibly.
Not exactly, because next to the site that you're talking about is Northfield.
Mhm.
And Northfield is gonna be right next to your fire station.
No,
And there's a road that's gonna come in
Northfield
to the
much farther.
Northfield,
it's
Northfield's
way
further
down,
down.
follow.
That's way further down.
It's further.
No, it's not close.
but it's still an entranceway where the fire station.
It's,
But
the
Exit
Northfield
will
entrance
be-
is not anywhere near. where the
That's
fire
pretty
station
far
is.
down, I mean, I'm not,
It's across from the
I've
funeral.
I've only been in town for a few years, but I know that entrance is pretty far down, yeah.
And being down there is going to also alleviate some of the parking at first, because most of the soccer is gonna go down there, but eventually we will fill up these fields with something else, it could be anything. So they're concerned.
I'm sympathetic to the park thing, I'm just saying, that I think we can come to a compromise for the sake, as you said, for our fire department, because there's other issues to consider just besides that. You know, I don't know what our current town's ISO rating is, but that affects where the fire department is, affects what your insurance rates are. So that can help an efficient fire department, an efficient call time, and a good location helps the community's property, insurance homeowners insurance and business insurance drop dramatically. The better your ISO rating, which the fire department has a lot of responsibility for. I mean, you have ISO inspections regularly, right? They come in pretty,
Every 5 years.
right? So that can make a big change. So having an efficient place in a good location and easy access in and out does help, not just safety wise, financially for the town, for the citizens that own property. So I think it's a win-win, in my opinion.
I have a question for Ari.
Yes,
The deed that says that the municipal purpose is for outdoor recreation, how does that interfere with the
I
plan?
think Nate spoke to that earlier.
Yeah, we can circle back to that. That's just my recollection of when we did this, this
Circle.
building. Yeah, we just have to circle back with council and get an accurate,
I mean, there's definitely precedent with this
The
building
deed-
here.
The deed
Yeah.
doesn't count for anything?
So I don't know, I'm not an attorney. All
Yeah.
I know is having involvement in this, it went to both House Council and Senate Council at the state level to see if it was Article 97. Both opined and said that it wasn't.
Through you, Madam Chairman. Does anybody here know what the town was assessed by National Heritage by putting this building here? Because National Heritage put a block on any permanent structures on this property.
No, they didn't. No. So, I was involved with that, the natural heritage, permit that we had to get mitigation land. We got land off of Staple Shores Road that, Basil Bartlett donated in lieu of taxes to the town. So there was no block, there was no condition.
So are the parks gonna get more land for the land that we've lost for this proposed building and this building?
I'm not
More
sure
for
what you're asking.
Select board.
I can't.
No, I know you can't.
So are you asking for, a land swap?
Well, I believe we were promised that we were gonna get some land for this. And to date, we've not received.
Well, my apologies, I'm unaware of any
You
of
weren't there.
that conversation,
You weren't there.
yeah. I don't-
I'm throwing this out there.
Madam Chair?
This is the guy.
Are you gonna take comments from the?
Gallery?
This is your meeting, so.
Yeah. Carol?
Go ahead.
Down going to 30 Main Street, former Park Commission. When this building was put on this property, the Park Commission voted against it. It was never, ever brought up on town floor or a vote, when the vote for the station went in. Also, there was a fine put on this property, for this building over here, by National Heritage. I don't know the number, it's a big secret. I hope, when and if you guys go to get a building, I'm all for you having a new fire station. Don't break the law again. Because we pay, we all pay. And the Board of Selectmen back then didn't give a damn. But we did. And we paid for it. And it's not right, because we're cheating the kids. And one more thing, this property was taken by eminent domain, recreation use. And it was for preservation for generations to come. And the other agreement we had was with Ted Williams. And the two other gentlemen that negotiated his usage of name, as well as me, are dead. Les Warburton and Dick Pickett. If you violate the usage anymore, I will personally fly down and make sure they send a letter to this town to take the name off the property. Because Ted made a commitment, he could have sold this to other people. The town made a commitment to keep this for the kids, and that's why Ted sold it to us. And other than that, good luck, and I hope you guys do find other sites so the taxpayer has more than one option, and not here. There's plenty of land in this town, so good luck.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Carol.
Thank you.
I do have one more question and then I'll be done. If you were asked to look at free land and free sites, if they said money's no object, where would you put the fire station? Would you still put it right here at the corner?
It's kind of an open question, I guess,
That's
I
that's
don't
a
know.
loaded question. Money's no object, it's always an object.
Yeah.
But I think it needs to be asked, because I think the only reason you're looking at these sites is because we already own the land. And yes, we already own the land, but I think recent events in town have shown that our people think the land is very important. and then once it's gone, you're not getting it back. So I was just like, what's the land worth? Like, you know, so is there another place that would be better suited, or is this the best place? Because if this is the best place and there's no place better, then yeah, let's put the fire station there. But if you're saying this place is better and this place is better, but that's $2 million and that's $5 million over 50 years, or I don't know what the longevity of a fire station is, but over that many years, is it worth it?
I think, you know, we hear things like 500-year storm. We think about central location because there's no appetite for substations. And we hear from the finance people about a budget that we can work with in consideration of all the demands that are coming our way for maybe, you know, Old Colony, school system, and we weigh all those factors, and we know that a dollar spent on land is one less dollar making an appropriate fire station. Those are all the considerations that went into landing on these possible sites. These are all the considerations that came into play when we're thinking about trying to do the best for Lakeville, like serve the greater good, and knowing there's an expense that comes with serving the greater good. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's a downside to it. This is a great location because it's central. It's a great location because it serves everything I just spoke about. I haven't thought about where we would go, where we're centrally located, where we could find space away from the water, outside of a 100-year storm, never mind a 500-year storm. God, I nothing's really popped out at me, and you know, it is a great spot. It's not just all about taking something that's free, but there's benefits to that because then we get to focus more on mission because we do have a limited budget. I don't know. It's a great question, and I'll think about it. I'll put a lot of thought into it. But that's what attracted us. That's what it's attracted me to this spot. And I do see within these 3 spots I do have preferences, but I'm only one person.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that you haven't given us an option, right? All your locations are here. Like, there's nothing for us or the public at large to have that option.
I think, I wasn't part of the first study, but one caveat when designing a fire station that you have to keep in mind is response time and location to everywhere in town. It can't be too far south, north, it has to be centralized. So, you know, typically if, you know, say money was no option and there was no development here, you know, a designer would run an algorithm and say, okay, the best spot to put this you know, fire station is X. And if that's because it can reach every single one of our people that live in town within a 6-minute or 8-minute response time. If it doesn't meet those, then it doesn't meet the standards per NFPA.
Okay.
So where it needs to be situated, it 100% needs to be centralized. And I assume when they did the first study, they looked at these areas as central to response times. And when I say centralized, that doesn't necessarily mean right in the middle of town. It has to do with populations.
Right.
So it has to be central to your population. So I don't know how that took place before, but that certainly can be done and looked at. But that's when you're looking to place a fire station on just a blank plate. That's how you would do it first. Is if money was no object, and all things considered, you need at least 2 to 3 acres of upland too as well. So water is obviously an issue in Lakeville. So but those are probably the 2 biggest pieces of the puzzle that go into it is your upland and then your response time.
Anybody else have any final questions?
Maybe just a comment. I'm a former firefighter for 7 years. My dad was a police officer in this town. I'm not against the fire station. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think Ted Williams Camp is the place.
Anybody else, Michael?
I was going to say one quick question. Is there going to be a training area there too?
It all depends on our availability of resources. If we have the money to include a training area, it'd be great to have it. We've looked at designs that incorporate training areas into the building, so there's no visible exterior training area. There's plenty of options out there. If it was a blank check, we'd have a standing training area, you know, but we'll see what we end up with. They haven't even designed it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope so. That's
Do
the
you have
answer.
any other questions for us?
I don't think so, but I'd like to just, make sure that we, have, regular, conversations as, we're progressing. And I think that, the concerns that you've all brought up, I think are something that will definitely be weighed in. And, we'll definitely have to look at, that agreement, because that's important too, so.
What's your timeline to put it before town meeting? Next year, the year after?
Well, it was originally, hoping for spring. And, yes, and we had our interviews last night with the architects, and we, were asking the questions about, how does that timeline, work with you? It would be extremely aggressive. So this committee really hasn't, had the conversation, past last night, about the timeline. I think that we will be, to see if we need to revisit it. Because I don't think that any of us want to rush into any of this. We want to make sure that we do it right. So any conversation is open to have. So,
Will
we
you be
are
coming back to us?
Oh, I would absolutely say yes, we would be, because this is important this is, collaboration that we need to have with our, fellow, board members. I want to keep the dialogue open, so I think it's important, and this committee felt the same way.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you for having us.
I think you're the most people we've had collectively.
We do appreciate the fact that you've come before us, as the last time. This did not happen at all. We sent letters to the board and got zero response. So, thank you.
We'll keep the dialogue going. All right, on that note, I would like to adjourn the Fire Station Building Committee at 7:42 p.m. And again, thank you very much for your time, and it was really great to see all of you. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
I'll see you on Sunday.
Yes,
I'd
I'm
like
so
to
excited.
talk to you guys about the 30th, right? We're meeting on the 30th.
Oh, my word.
It's a Mini Cooper truck, don't get too excited.
No, we're gonna use mine.
Oh, all right.
Are you decorating?
Yes. You're talking to a former Lakeville haunted house person.
That's right,
Oh,
That's right.
yeah.
Which, at this time, this weekend would have been a second weekend, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bittersweet situation.
Yeah, it was a loss, I think.
Was the Art Council gonna
Thank you.
have a pavilion or something?
Very much, Sharon.
That's being built
Where?
behind the old
Well,
town hall.
part of the problem was, what the house got for information wasn't all the truth.
Well, we're gonna definitely look into all of that, so.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I wasn't well versed on my responses, because I knew it existed, so,
Yeah.
it was just a timing thing of when I had a copy in front of me, so.
Right.
All right, but thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Bye-bye.
Okay, does anybody need a break?
Yep.
Michael took off. All right, so you wanna adjourn for 5 minutes?
Okay.
Is that good?
Sounds good.
Okay. To the Lakeville Park Commission's meeting, back at 7:50 p.m. Okay. Back to the agenda. 1 is done. Number 2, going over the minutes. Did anybody find any errors or omissions from the minutes from last meeting? I have 2 things, Peter. One is under number 3. Number 3, it was that we accepted the tournament pending their insurance, because that's a different league, wasn't it? Ladies something, ladies sing softball. So they're not one of our leagues, so we'll need an insurance binder. And the other thing was number 4, discuss and possible vote on the removal of tree next to Horseshoe Club. It doesn't say that I motioned for the tree to be cut down and nobody seconded. I'd like that put in the minutes, please.
Of course.
Did
Yep.
it happen?
It happened.
I'm just asking.
It happened.
I mean, I know Peter would.
It was
would have it
crickets
there
in
if it
here
happened.
when I was like,
Paula and I were looking at each other.
I just didn't include.
I'm only
Yep.
kidding.
it was crickets. The first time Mike and Paula both had nothing to say. Okay, that was all. Did anybody else find anything?
No, no.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept the minutes?
I motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All, Scott, aye.
Yeah, I have to vote aye because you can't vote unless it's a tie. Yes, aye.
Unanimously passed. Okay, review park finances. Did I see park finances in here?
Nope.
Perfect.
So we don't have to review.
Review and possible vote to approve any sports agreements.
None. There are none.
5, discuss and possible vote on request for amendment to Free Lake softball, youth softball agreement. So their agreement says they end on the 31st of October, but with all the rain and stuff, they scheduled out to the 12th or 13th,
18th of
the
November.
18th of November. Is that a problem or is that okay with everybody?
Are we put into a vote?
Do we
Make
need
a
to
motion
vote?
to allow them to finish their season, period.
Whatever it goes to.
Yes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimously passed.
Who seconded that?
What number was that?
Oh.
Paula,
Yeah.
Scott made it and Paula seconded.
That was 5.
5, so that's number 5. All right, number 6, discuss and possible vote to approve AES request for parking at Ted Williams Camp. Did we approve this once, right? And they just keep changing the
They
date?
keep changing the date, yes.
Do we have to, can we just say yes? Do we have to vote?
Do we have a new date?
Yes.
So we have to vote.
November,
8th.
What parking lot are they gonna use?
November what?
8th.
It's Wednesday, November 8th.
It's Wednesday, during the day.
No, it's for open house.
4:30
so I
to
think
7:30.
It's at night.
Okay.
We've always used this area.
Yeah, it's just nice that they ask us.
Yeah,
That's all we ask.
okay. Do we want to vote to change the date to November?
Make a
8th?
motion to change the date to November 8th.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimously passed. 6-7, discuss and possible vote on removal of tree next to Horseshoe Club shed. Michael, any
You gonna do
quotes?
crickets again?
Any quotes for?
So well, first off, I brought Frank down there and we met and to look at it. He says it's not necessary to take that out, because of the roots and how far they go.
No, it's not necessary to take the stump out.
The stump out.
It's not
So he
s-
said, don't spend the money, don't whatever. So I went by him because I wanna know if it affected him. So I'm on board with that. His only concern was, and I think you addressed it, was the electric. He thought the electric should be taken down before.
Absolutely.
So that's, I'm just letting you know that.
Paula and I had contacted Paula's guy, cause she's got a guy for everything. And, he came out and took a look at it and he said it would be better off to leave the stump in. He said his stuff wasn't big enough and it was too difficult and
That's fine.
things, so it was better to leave it in.
But,
How big is, how, that's a big tree, they're gonna cut it down. To what level? Are we talking 2 feet, 4 feet? I mean,
Probably above the building.
Not
No.
above the building, but
Well,
where,
the tree's not gonna grow anymore once you cut it.
right,
yeah,
so,
but it's in the,
yeah, they have to cut off what's
I know.
leaning in.
And it's been that way for
so-
30 years.
Well,
Yeah.
is it a danger to cut it below that? That's the question.
Well, it's gonna be more of a job for them to cut it below the roof line.
It will be.
Yeah,
Because now they've got the building to contend with.
right,
Do you think that I didn't notice whether that big trunk was into the building?
the big trunk is not into the
No,
building,
it's
it
more
like,
the top.
yeah, it comes down and then it kind of bows in like this, so I think there's 2 people, right, there's South Coast Tree for $29.95, and then there's Barnes Tree Removal for $3,300, so Barnes Tree Removal said he could take it all down without removing the electricity and everything, he just wasn't stump grinding. I don't know how far down he's taken that, because we didn't meet in person, he came down and did it, looked at it himself. South Coast Tree was taking it down to the top it's past the roof line, but to the top where it starts to bow out away from the shed.
Cause it did say this price includes the removal of the complete pine tree. So what does complete mean?
I don't know.
That means
Supposedly-
tree, not stump.
Oh, because we asked him when we met with him whether he would take down just the one, cause this tree is really I
Yeah,
thought
it's
it
three.
was 3 trees.
Yeah.
He said, no, it's 1 tree, it just has 3 branches. So I asked for prices on just taking the one that was against the shed and the whole tree. And after he came out and looked at it, he said, you can't just take down the one against the shed because that will throw off the whole balance of it and then the rest of the tree is more likely to come down. So it was the whole pine tree.
I'm sorry, can I ask you a question about
absolutely.
one of the bills here?
Yeah.
We're paying the whole thing for Mr. Cesspool? I thought we weren't paying all of it.
Where's Mr. Cesspool? Oh,
Oh, there's one for 165 and then there's 295?
$295 is what we usually pay, correct? $165 was to have the trailer pumped, I believe.
Pumping service to trailer, yes, you are absolutely correct.
That's the trailer we're
That's-
moving.
That's the one that we are in process.
Paula doesn't know, that they went to move it, and you got the air in the tires, did it hold the air?
It,
Yeah.
it held enough to get us
get it
here.
here?
Yeah,
Oh, so is the trailer here?
no,
No.
no, no.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
You want, I can,
Yeah, you
I can
tell her.
tell you, sure, if, do you want, let's continue with that and then you can come back to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one decision we gotta make on the South Coast Tree Service is if we want to keep any of the pine chips or they take them all.
They take them all.
Alright.
Why do you want?
Untreated?
No, no, I'm
You don't-
just, it
You don't want
says it.
untreated.
No,
I just putting that out there, that's what it says.
If
so
you
we
were to
can
ask
let
Frank,
them know.
I bet you he'd say, we don't want the untreated.
He'd say we don't want any more piles of
He
anything
doesn't want
anywhere.
piles.
well, unless he's putting it on the trail like they put all the other chips.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we have the mulch. Okay, so is there a motion to take the tree down next to the Horseshoe Club shed, or do I need to make it?
You can't,
You
Crickets.
you can't.
Can't.
I
As the
can't?
chairman, you can't.
Okay.
You can't make a motion, you don't vote unless there's a tie.
Okay.
That's true.
Correct?
Technically, that's true.
Okay. So, no motion to take down this tree.
I'll make a motion to take down the tree at the shed site.
Any second?
And are we using South Coast, Southeast or whatever?
Well, you can motion to do whichever, or take it down, and then we can
Make
add
a motion to
it.
take it down yourself.
I'm out of estrogen and I've got a chainsaw.
That's
Right.
it. She's got a
You
guy.
get the hint?
All right, Paula, motion to remove the tree next to the Horseshoe Club shed. Any second?
Second.
I second with discussion.
No.
Well, Scott just seconded it, right?
Oh, I did.
Michael,
No,
you,
I did not
you did
second.
not.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Paula
Michael
did. Paula tried to.
All right, any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
What cookie jar is this coming out of?
This is coming out of the leftover money from the tennis court. The $7,000 for the Clear Pond parking.
Okay, did we approve to do that?
Yeah.
To take that money out of there?
Yeah, at our last meeting, we discussed it, Michael.
No, listen, I'm, the money's there, I have no problem with that, I'm just reaffirming, once we do that, we gotta figure out, what's that, $3,000, so we got about what left?
Was it 2,900 or
Well,
was it
it's-
the 33?
If we go with South Coast,
It's 3,000.
it's 3,000. He's a local guy, he came down, he
Yeah.
said he could do it, not a problem.
No, it's no issue.
And the other,
I would go with-
the other quote was higher, right? Was
It
that
was Barnes, yeah.
Okay.
So it's all the local new guy or the older business that does work in the town.
I think if he's $400 less than what, we should be going with him.
Yeah, he's
unless-
licensed, he's insured, he's got it all.
Okay.
Alright, so what was your discussion?
I just said my discussion is,
The electric.
Well, yeah, one was the electric, but you feel comfortable he doesn't need it, but obviously
Well, I will have him come out and look at it again and ask him again.
because if something does happen, obviously he's gonna be responsible for putting it up.
Yeah.
But what's the use for it now, the electric? If something happens to it, what are we gonna lose?
If something happens to what?
If he cuts it and then,
Is
God
it-
forbid something down, those wires are destroyed, what are we gonna lose for,
Is it lights to the horseshoes? I'm not sure.
Horseshoes. It would be horseshoes.
should be horseshoes, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing over there.
Yeah, because they took the wires down that went to the haunted house.
Yep.
Unless they're all connected to the volleyball, unless it's all one line, which is possible, I'm not sure. I'd have to go look.
But the volleyball lights go under the road to the pole right across the street, and the horseshoe lights go from their shed over to the horseshoes.
So that, but where is that electric coming from? That's the question we're talking about.
I don't know where that.
That's,
Should we be safer than sorry and take them down? Because will that affect the horseshoe club if, God forbid, those things go down?
They're
Well,
done
they
for
won't
the
be able-
season.
They'll be done now?
yeah, they'll be done now, right?
They would.
Well, but I mean, then he's gotta make appropriate remedy.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And one more thing on this is that they're donating how much to this? 500?
500,
500. So it's gonna be actually 20.
25.
Who's donating the 500?
The horseshoe club.
Oh, thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
I'm in favor of the
South Coast
South Coast
Tree.
tree removal.
Okay.
Nay.
So Paul is a yay.
Yay.
Scott is a nay. Michael?
I'm a yay.
Michael's a yay. So it passes.
We don't need to take it down. Don't need to take it down.
Surprised, aren't you?
Yes, but not at what you think, so. Okay, number 8, discuss future porta potty options for John Pond Park. What do you got, Michael? You've been busy.
Peter printed that out.
It's on page 12.
Page 12 in your packet.
I've been doing some research on that too.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is that company, Porta Potty Dogs. They're nationwide. So, they gave me the standard construction portable toilets, service once a week is $209 for 28 days. The ADA compliant units, are $269 for 28 days. They have hand washing stations. So the way it works is there is the portable toilet with a sink inside, okay? That's serviced once per week. But they have their own water source, which they replace when they pump. It is potable, they have their license to do all of that. But my concern is these things are only set up for 40 flushes, portable toilets.
That's what I don't think you should use it to flush.
The other thing we can do is just put the ADA compliant toilets with a hand wash station outside. They have hand wash stations here.
So a hand wash station is just a hand wash station.
Correct.
Is it outdoors?
Correct.
Or is
Yes.
it in
Yes,
a
it's right next to
Separate
just
it.
unit.
outside?
They have, you can get one that has 4 sinks, you can get one that has 2 sinks, you can get one that has 1 sink. Obviously, money drives the,
Right. The more sinks, the more money.
correct. But there and again, like Mike said, you have to, cause I talked to Nate about it, and that's the crux to the whole problem, is that the water, we can't do it. Unless we're bringing it from a potable source, but we can't do it. It has to come from the company providing it, and they have to be certified, like Mike said, and they have to have certified potable water.
Yes.
And they have to come, bring it, deliver it, set it up. They have to do the whole thing.
You actually
Okay.
have a separate water tank that they deliver the water in like you would
Right.
anything else.
And
Right.
how, like you said, the sink, the bathroom with the sink only does 40 flushes. How much water does just the sink have?
The ones I saw held between 15 and 19 gallons of water per sink.
But the issue is, regardless if people wash their hands or not, we still gotta put up a sign like wherever else, this is not drinking water.
Correct.
Because we don't want them filling up bottles and
Correct.
things like that. So we'll always do that.
Correct.
So it's a matter of how important the washing station is.
When I was down there, I think you had left. I was there, and I had two mothers come up to me. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm like, well, don't thank me yet. I'm taking this thing away. You know, we're working on it. But I truly believe that we need to get all the groups involved, and they all need to chip in, because this is going to be, you know, 200, and if you get the washing station, I mean, this could be over a $500 a month bill.
Oh, because it's $500 now for the 2 porta potties.
So it's going to be well over $500.
But then we would have to, can't we get the leagues to pay for this?
That's what I just said. We have to get the leagues to pay for it, or at least some of it,
Most of it.
because we can't afford to charge to pay $500 a month
No.
for we don't even come close to getting that in fees. Not even close to getting that in fees.
Right, so my question is,
If they want it that bad,
Can we
Right.
put it in the contract?
then are we charging all of the leagues, even the leagues here? Because we have bathrooms here that they don't pay for.
that's why I said a portion of it. That we pick up a quarter, and the rest is based on participation or we come up with some formula.
Well, the big issue to me is the North Fields, because there is no potable water down there. So I don't see putting a washing station down there anyway. We put the handicap, obviously the ADA thing, but I really want, we'll discuss with soccer, we want to pay for down there, there's other things. But we really need to have these groups pitch in.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking is that they pitch in accordingly, because we
Can't do it.
$500, 3 months, and we've spent more than we're going to take in the whole place,
Right.
at John Pond, for the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great idea, and they deserve it. I'm not denying that fact, but they've got to pitch in.
If
You
they
know?
want those kind of,
They came to the preservation meeting the
You
other
know,
night.
I mean, you know, somehow we've got to come up with some type of formula based on the number of players you have and the length of time you're playing.
I think that's gonna be a decision once we set the league fees over the winter, see what we're gonna do.
Yes.
But that'll change, a lot of things will change, hopefully. But I think it definitely has to be in the contract.
Right, but I think we have to make them aware of this before we go ahead with this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they need to know that there's going to be an increase, not only in the, you know, we're not talking about the $22.50 a child, but that there's going to be an added cost
Right.
based on the number of participation.
They can either pay for it and raise their fees, or we'll raise their fees and we'll pay for it. Right?
Right.
I'm just saying we need help.
No, you're
Right.
100%.
That's all I'm saying, and I think we need to have the conversation with them now before we go and really spend. I mean, Mike spent time, I've spent time, you know,
Yeah.
before we spend some real time,
Right.
you know, and that's all. That's all.
Right. So I've talked to softball, and they will have to have them, like you said, all in and sit down, discuss where everybody's going. But they said they would rather pay us one fee and have us take care of. Sorry, Paula. Don't step at you.
Okay.
And
Take care of everything. But they probably don't know the actual cost that it's going to be. Like, that's easy to say before you know it's going to be $1,000 or
Yeah,
$2,000.
Yeah.
Right, and then if I'm just playing devil's advocate. So what if softball's the only one that wants to do it, and women's blue ball doesn't, and co-ed blue ball doesn't? So what are we gonna put a lock on, and let them open it and close it? I
Right.
again, devil's
Yeah,
advocate over
no.
here. I'm just how are we gonna handle that?
Right.
Well, the good
And-
news, go ahead, sorry.
I think it would have to be in their agreement, and they would have to pay their portion. Like, there wouldn't be an option. Or they would have to bring in their own porta potties, which would be just as much.
Well,
that's an option for them. If they don't wanna go with us, they can bring their own.
LPA used to pay for their own.
And if you, are they there 6 months total?
Well, they're there from April to now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
May, June,
So, yeah,
July, August,
softball
September,
is,
October,
they're
November.
gonna be there until the middle of November.
But
Well,
isn't one
So
well
we're
done?
at least 6
No,
months
no.
at $500, that's $3,000.
We don't bring in close to that down there.
Well, we have to remember too, we're gonna have them down there at the same time at North Fields. So we gotta put that into the formula. But the good news is, the more we rent, the less it'll be, because they're gonna make one trip anyway. So what I'm saying, the rent, the lease will go down with the more porta potties we have. So once we decide how many there and how many there, the lease price will be less.
What do you mean,
I had
how
the-
many there and how many there? Where else are
I
you
thought the
thinking?
trailer's going down there.
The
We
trailers,
changed on that?
No, that's the idea.
Well, but we don't, there's gonna be no water in there.
Well,
So
there's gotta be water in there.
Yeah,
where's the water gonna, there's gonna be no hand washing water.
We'll disconnect the pipe
Right, so,
Just
so
pull
you
the front
use
thing off and disconnect the pipe.
sanitary,
and put in hand
Hand
sanitizer.
wipes.
I don't know.
yeah, well,
so that's not an issue. We're not putting porta pots down on North Field. It's only John Pond Park.
Right, we're
Right.
gonna, hopefully, that's the plan,
Well,
at this
yeah.
point
I
in
mean,
time.
I mean, if you notice, there's a porta john out behind field 1, up against the.
Yes,
We don't pay for that.
no, I've never seen anybody use it.
Oh, the men's softball and baseball usually.
yeah, baseball.
Okay.
Alright.
And do they have their own key too?
I don't think it's locked
Okay.
Are you, to the porta potty?
to that one. I don't believe it's locked.
Okay, thank you guys for getting those options. And Nate was on board with that. What did he think the best option was?
Gated porta potty. And I'm like, it's tough for the girls. I've been a proponent of something better than just a porta potty for the young women. It's not right. I mean, we've got this toilet up here, and we give them a porta potty with no running water down there. I somehow we gotta figure something out.
Yeah.
And this
But
is the
that
next.
will be temporary though, for how
Well,
long?
that's
2 years?
that's the other side of the coin, is that hopefully this is a temporary thing. That's not a done deal. We just
No.
got money for a survey. You know, that doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Right.
You know, it would be nice.
Right. And even when it does, like, I keep mentioning this so people don't get their hopes too far up. Like, in 2 years, I'm not going to be on this commission. You may not. Our term is up in 2 years, yours and mine. So, and I know there are people in town that do not think that a permanent bathroom is the way to go. They think the porta potties are the way to go. And they're not totally wrong. It's probably the more
Are they the-
economical.
Are they the people that are using the porta potties, or are they just expressing an opinion?
No, because the only people using those porta potties are the blooper ball teams and the young
And they're
girls.
the ones that count. It's
Yeah.
their opinion that
And
counts.
like I said, 2 or 3 mothers. There was at least 2 mothers. There might have been a third, and they were ecstatic. And I said, we're taking it away.
Right. That's yeah.
It's gonna be
Better
2
than
years
me.
before they even think of running water down there.
Yeah. No,
So,
I understand.
It's not gonna happen in our,
They're thinking about running water now.
Okay.
They're trying
But
to
I did,
work it
when
out.
I did talk to
but-
Nate, he said that would be the only way you could have water down there, right now.
Right.
He said, we could hook up to that well, but then it would have to be tested
Tested.
all the time.
Right. Was it like
So-
$40 a week?
It was $40 a test, but that was just for bacteria. If you're testing for potency, being potable, it's more. That's what he said, it would cost you more.
Right.
So, I mean, we might as well have them bring a station that would be cheaper. I mean, even if it was
Right.
$40 once a week.
Right.
So you're talking, $160 to $200 a month just to test the water.
Right. And this is $220 for the yeah.
And you don't do anything. They bring it, set it up, take care of it.
Yep.
You know?
Okay.
I mean,
Alright.
it's a, you know, but, I mean, the poor girls down there, you're probably, your daughter played down there, right?
Yeah, I
mean,
played down there.
It was just a porta potty.
Right. But I will, and as much as porta potties gross me out and I would do anything not to use one, I would have had to have used one when we played there.
You had to,
And I'm
right?
not overly traumatized
No,
from it
I know.
because I don't have those memories. So it's not as bad, I think, as we think it is.
No.
But
the
it's
comment,
still,
the comment has been, the girls need running water.
yeah.
And, you know, lack of
Yeah.
putting, just bringing, an easy solution would just to bring a hand wash station.
Right.
For two, you know, I mean, one of them, the double one was $200 and something a month. The one I looked at, I'm just saying, I know Mike's got prices here, so but, you know,
So, We know that we need porta pots for the next 2 years. The
Yeah.
question is, which ones do we get and who pays for it, right?
Well, that's a
Yeah.
good discussion over the winter.
Yep.
Yeah, but I definitely think it's a discussion that needs to be held sooner than later.
Right, because we
with
push
these
everything
groups.
off. Yeah.
I mean, maybe we invite them in just to make them aware of what's coming down the road. I mean, we can't afford it,
Right.
Yeah.
you know?
Okay. Well, speaking of not affording things, discuss and possible vote for fee for April 22nd's mixtape.
And what is that mixtape that
Mixtape is the bike race that's held in the spring that Mike does.
I mean,
So he had a secret squirrel. He contacted Peter for a secret squirrel bike race, and Peter said, "We don't see any reasons, no, but it's $750 a bike." And he said, "Nope, we're canceling it because we'd rather cancel it than pay $750 per person."
But they go in and have a dinner
So
and pay for the dinner.
So, but in his defense, the secret squirrel fees are like $35. That's what they charge. So it's a lot less than the mixtape. So after we had this past year where we only charged him $400 for everybody for the mixtape, I went back through all of our minutes, and in 2019 he paid 1 day's rent, which was $1,050 or $600 plus $5 per person for the mixtape. In 2020, he paid $5 per person, and he was told that it was going to increase in 2021. There's no record for 2021 COVID, so I assume that they didn't have it. And in 2022, he was charged $7.50 to have the mixtape. He came to the board and complained, and the board dropped it back to $5 per person. That brings us to last year when he paid a flat rate of $400. So his comment was that we're pricing him out. Like if we charge him $7.50, he's going to go elsewhere with the mixtape bike race and fee.
And how many people are in this approximately?
I believe it was 330. The mixtape.
What a deal! $400 for 330.
Yeah, because remember he came last minute because he'd
Yeah.
already gone through the select board and everybody else. So then we had to approve him last minute, and you weren't there. And it was me, Mike, and Mike Cassani, and they called him, and
And
he said, "I have no idea what I paid last year."
He knew what he paid.
Yeah, I believe that he did also. But so then after that, that's when I went back to see what he paid, because I'm like,
Can I ask
then
when
I
he
felt like
wants to do
ripped
this?
off.
When does he want this
It's
to
usually I
happen?
think April. Is it April-ish, Peter?
I was thinking, how much time does he have to look around?
My question is does he rent the facility, the hall? I know he did.
I believe that he did. I don't know if he's going to. I don't know if that's in the plan.
And is
I
it
don't
one
know.
day or 2 days?
So
The race is only one
So,
day. Did he
here's
give us
the-
any other information,
again,
Peter?
I'm going to play the devil's advocate. I've been here doing this tonight.
Yeah,
um,
no, go for it.
That's
We've been charging him $5 a head, and that was okay. And we're charging him $250 more to bring him in line with everybody else, and he can't afford it.
Why are we giving him a break, by the way? I just, some help here.
What break?
I mean, why aren't we thinking of
You
bringing
know,
him up
since
to what
the
other
cost
people
of
do?
things-
We
Oh,
are.
yeah.
We told him it was $750, and he canceled his last event and said, "Is this
Well,
the
that-
letter
that's
that
his
you
fault.
put
He's charging
in?"
$35, so he should charge $37.50.
Right.
I mean, the guy
Right.
is a for-profit organization, so sorry.
Right. So what he said
Okay, I mean,
for
it's
the
not
mixtape
sure.
was that it was going to
Doesn't matter.
cut. That's a fundraiser, and it was going to cut into his profits. But
It's profits.
We're nonprofit too.
right.
Right.
But here's the thing, because also last year, remember how we went to the select board, and the select board said, you know, he's a nonprofit. He donates his money, but that's not true. He donates a portion of the money.
Right.
So he charges $110 for 300 racers, and then there's a special $150 fee for Boston Children's Hospital or some organization that has 30 racers. So he charges that extra $40 to 30 people, and that's what he donates.
So he's really not losing anything from profits.
he wants to make a motion.
So
Yeah, make a motion.
I'm asking.
Oh,
Chair.
Madam.
so yeah, so Yeah, go ahead, make your motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we allow him to come and bring his mixtape group of riders here at $7.50 a head.
I second it.
Any discussion?
Nope.
No, now's the time for more discussion.
I mean, I'm not talking about.
Yeah, no, so I'm totally on board that he was warned that it was going up, he was whatever. And then, Peter, it isn't $5.19 all at once. He mentions in here, for our April event that would deplete the fundraising that we do for Boston Children's Hospital, we're going to need to reevaluate if we can have the mixtape at Ted Williams Camp in this April. But somewhere,
What are you looking
okay.
for?
No, I just said, he knows it's $7.50 a person as opposed to the 400 flat rate that he paid last year. And I think that might be what he's going off of, I'm not sure.
And he's charging 110 apiece.
Oh.
Yeah,
Was that what he charged? Well, not for the one he just applied for that he canceled.
right, that Secret Girl was $35
Yeah.
a piece.
Right, but he had decided on that price
Prior to
contacting us and seeing, and almost like, well, you know, I'm only charging this much, you gotta give it to me at a deal.
Yeah,
And that's not how it works.
no,
I mean,
It's
he's
not
more
a problem.
concerned about his profit, not the money going to Children's Hospital. Because he's got salaries to pay, he's a for-profit, so he's more concerned about how much he's gonna make than how much is going to Children's Hospital.
that is my,
It's not our
Then he
problem.
can raise the price by $2.50.
Do whatever he wants.
okay. Alright, so we're, yeah, it's a fine line, right? Cause you charge an extra $2.50 and you could lose the whole $5, like, that's a risk we're willing to take.
Yep.
I'm just, alright. Okay, Scott motioned, Paula seconded, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all aye. Okay, number 10, review and approve Park Department website facts.
Very good, Pete.
Any, questions, comments? Edits? Add-in additions? Okay, of course I have two. Athletic fields and courts.
Who may use athletic fields and courts, is that what the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Yes. Where is it? Who may use, it's in the middle of the page.
15, page 15,
Yeah,
about 2/3 of the
so-
way down.
When not otherwise reserved, the athletic fields and courts may be used by the public. I would like to remove for pickup games and practice and just used by the public.
Yep, and somehow, you know, we need to put something that, if they wanna use the fields, they need to contact us and ask us if they're open. I mean, otherwise,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, but how's that
Paula's
gonna
gonna
work?
show up with her friends and then Mike's gonna practice a half an hour later and
But-
they're gonna
but-
say, well, we're here.
But who do they call?
Peter,
Peter,
So if I wanna come at 7 o'clock at night to play, I gotta call Peter?
yeah. There's
No,
a
you can't
calendar,
do
there's
that.
a
You don't have
calendar
to call.
online.
It's a
Yes,
public
yeah.
park, they don't have to call.
Yeah.
We're not open at 7 o'clock at night. The park
At
closes.
night, in the
In
summer
the summer we are.
Okay.
So my
Okay.
point is, if I have guests over, and you know, whatever day, hey, let's go hit some balls. If there's someone there and there's a league, then they're not gonna play. If we're playing and then a guy comes saying he has practice, then we'll just leave. That's just, I mean, the guy's got the permit to play, he'll show it.
that's what he has to show.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying is that you can't reserve public areas. Like,
So, well, you can
Well, we do
reserve
reserve
it ahead of
public areas
time.
because
We
they
do,
pay to use
That's
it.
what we do.
no, I'm talking about the public having to call Peter and reserve playing 40
No, I'm not
minutes
saying
of
even
baseball.
reserving, just making sure that no one's using the field.
Okay, Peter has put our calendar.
It's right here in the answer to the question 2, the third line, the park usage calendar should be consulted to view all approved.
There you go.
You didn't finish
So how many
reading
people are
down.
gonna know that calendar there, where to go?
It's right under facts.
But I'm saying, how many people go to our website?
Anybody who needs answers to these questions.
I'm just saying it's impractical. I think we should just, people go when they want. If there's a group or a place who pays for it, they should have their permit with them, okay, I'm gone. Or if they're practicing and someone comes, they just show it and then they're gone.
And that's fine, but if somebody wants to come down to use the field and they wanna check the calendar to see if the field is open, they're welcome to do so.
No,
If they would like to just come down and take a chance, they're welcome to do so.
That's my point.
They can go either way. Anything else on that one?
So they're gonna check to
The-
see if the field is in use or
Well, they
booked.
should.
They
Right.
can, yeah. If
They should.
If they want to. Like if I'm saying, all right, kids, let's get in the car. We're going to go
Right.
to Ted Williams Canton
Before I
play
call
ball.
20 people to come down and play ball, I'm gonna find out if the field's
If
open.
the field's
That's
open.
me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if I got 5 kids that drop by and they want to go see and find a spot, then more power to them.
And that's stipulated, how do I reserve space and time?
Well, it's a,
It's not mandatory, it's a strong suggestion.
Right.
there
And
you
it's
go.
in that same.
We suggest that you do this.
Yep.
But it's not mandatory.
No,
And my other one was manages the parks. Who manages the parks? Who manages the parks? The next page. I would like to say the parks are managed by a 5-member
Commission.
elected park commission, but I would like volunteer to be in there somewhere.
Volunteers manage this park?
5-member volunteer elected park commission,
Unpaid.
unpaid volunteer, however you want
you
to
can
put
just
it.
say the commission is made up of 5 unpaid volunteers elected.
Citizens
To
of
the
Lakeville,
park commission.
unpaid volunteers.
Because I think that people don't understand that either.
Yeah, we get paid.
So
Other committees get paid. but we
other
don't.
committees get paid. And we spend a whole heck of a lot of time
Yes, we
You
do.
got that
And
right.
more than
doing all
most.
this. So, and I'm not asking to be paid, I'm just saying people
We can vote
assume.
out, we can vote ourselves a stipend.
Sure, with what money? Where's that gonna come out of?
Hey, it'll come out of the tennis court money.
Yeah, the extra tennis court.
Yeah, which is down to like, I don't know, $1,500, so.
No, that's okay.
It's about 5
That's
grand, 6 grand.
No, we started with 7, we're spending 3 on a tree, and we put volleyball lights in. So you're down to like $1,600.
We had more than 7. We
That's
had 12.
$300 each of us.
We had 12.
Okay.
And,
That doesn't count.
and
gas.
I see you're talking about, swimming at Loon Pond not
Yep.
permitted. We need another sign that says no swimming. What's happening is a tree grows and the
Yep.
sign's
And,
going
and,
up.
and when people don't like the signs, they tear them
They
down.
take them
Yeah, I
down.
know, but I would like to put one down by that second beach.
There was one there.
Oh, it's, okay.
Well, find it and find one and send it
No,
to Peter.
I agree with you.
Um,
That's the problem.
the.
Can we try, do we have any sign that says no swimming? Do we have any extra one?
I
We can
haven't
look at it.
seen
I
one.
haven't seen any.
We have found a. Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's really
I
cool.
meant to contact her and I haven't yet.
Yeah.
We've found keep your dogs off the fields signs in the trash.
Oh,
Isn't that fun?
Fancy that.
When you put them with zip ties at eye level,
Well,
that tends to happen.
That's like on field. What's the main field, Mike? Little League field. Field 3?
Feel free.
Field 3.
Yeah.
They were up on the poles, 20 feet in the air,
It's just a challenge.
torn down.
Okay. Yep. Okay, 11. Speaking of torn down, security cameras. You want an update?
Well, Scott and I went down there to move the thing, and we just happened to take a tour. The one thing we didn't like, and I know we discussed this before, is the pile of rock and dirt that
Yep.
softball left there when they moved it from around the batting cages.
They just put it up against
They just put it right up against
their building.
their building. Just
No,
a
those
big-
are that was extra.
That wasn't there before that happened.
The
You mean John
stones,
Pond?
the stones they picked up and they moved and dumped them in the woods.
So
so-
where did that other pile come from?
That was their extra rocks. I'm not sure what the plan was for them, but
How
they
about
didn't like
the
scrape it up
driveway,
and dump
for
it
Pete's
there.
sake?
Yeah,
They
spread them in the driveway.
Yeah.
It just looks. So anyway, Scott and I looked around, and I said, "Oh, so when we put up the next year the other security camera," and I said,
It's right
"Scott,
here.
it's gone." And he goes, "No, that's it." I go, "No, that's not it. What's on the other side?" "No, it's not there either." It was gone. Someone climbed 18 feet,
Probably 18 feet in the air and took the camera.
18 feet in the air to take the camera out. So we
wonder if
lost the
that's on
camera
video.
down there.
I think we can search that on YouTube.
Where does the video go? Where does the video feed go?
The video's not set up
No,
yet
no, no.
because we weren't going to set it up till next spring.
But if I'm gonna climb a pole, right? Because
Oh,
it's
right.
not somebody
I see what
my
you're saying.
age.
I see what
Oh,
you're
yeah.
saying.
It's probably a kid,
On
right?
TikTok.
I think it was Paula.
And
I
Mike
stepped
gave
on
her
the
10
top
figures.
of my car. And I was on the roof to get a boost.
right, if I'm gonna do that, I want video of it.
No, I see what you're saying now, Melissa.
So after that, I walked around again here at Ted Williams, and there's some spots we can put it higher, but the coverage isn't gonna be the same, because we'll have to cut down branches of what we're looking at. So now, Frank said he would offer his bucket truck to figure this out, but this is just the ones that Clear Pond isn't going up till next summer, John Pond's not going till, when we open it up in April. We're not putting those up, because there's no reason to put them up. The Ted Williams, I wanted to put up before the winter,
Yeah.
so, we maybe only put one or two up, and we'll decide where they're going, but I'm not touching them until we figure out where
And how?
and how,
And how to secure them
and how to secure them.
better. Yeah.
But that's when I was talking about the signs. You said, oh, you found one in the trash, and there and again, well, the signs were gone, and now the camera's gone.
Right. Right. But there was no other vandalism, right? They just stole the camera.
No,
As far as we
didn't
can
see
see.
anything, no. But they had to climb up, they had to get a
Oh, yeah.
ladder.
They either had to bring a
No, I
ladder
don't
or a
think
bucket
so. I
truck,
think they climbed
or
it.
shimmy up the
Shimmy it
pole.
up, yeah. But it's gonna have to be strapped in with metal and,
Right, because it'll have to be bolted, because that's harder to climb up a.
or we can get those
Pole with-
pigeon spikes and put them up the pole, so they can't climb up the pole. You know the ones that,
Okay.
pigeon spikes?
This is
So
ridiculous.
something to keep in mind with the next one.
Yes.
Horseshoe shed tree. We voted on toilet cleaning and removal. Working on it.
Okay, so can I stop you right
Yep, you can.
there? The problem we're having is, there's what's called transit pins that go in and lock the wheels down so that we can drive, because right now they go up and down, they move up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So I called the company, had to call them a second time, did get to talk to somebody, and they sent me an email stating that they would be $75 a piece plus shipping.
Plus shipping. And where are these people?
DeQueen,
In the
Iowa?
Midwest or something?
Someone's, yeah.
Did you check with Russo's?
No, you ordered them, so it's
You ordered them.
ready to go.
Oh, okay.
I did.
I just thought maybe.
Yeah, but it's not something that, it's not something that it really is a regular RV product, only because it's specially made, they make them.
Mm-hmm.
They physically make them individually, and that's why it's gonna be.
They're selling
cost.
them for $75.
Yeah.
Too. Okay. But so we're just waiting for the pins.
Yep,
Once,
On contract
and then
renewal.
you transport
and
after
we'll
that.
bring it up here.
Yeah, we're gonna hook it up, we got a place we're gonna hook it up behind the office, and we'll secure it, so no one can break in, and then
Right.
we're good.
We'll tape it and put signs on it and say it's closed.
We can hope.
Put a camera on it.
Yeah, put a camera on it.
Brenda's researching the butterfly
What are you
garden.
laughing at over there?
Volleyball court lights, I haven't heard. I know that we've contacted the company, but I haven't heard back from them. League agreements will update soon. It's just, this gets to be such a busy time. So you wanna invite them for the first week in December? Start inviting them, and do you wanna do one league at a time?
One league at a time.
Yeah, I mean,
We don't wanna be too
we
many
normally have the
No.
meeting in February with all the groups.
Everybody?
That was,
That was
Yeah.
difficult.
I think we should try it one at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. Office repairs, a few lenses still need for replacing, but the couple that he couldn't replace, he couldn't get out.
Mm.
What?
So, the light shades in the office.
Yeah.
Paula also wants to get the roof checked because there's leakage around one of the lights again.
Yeah, and Peter and I were in there, and there's a big black spot. I meant
Yeah.
to say something to Nate. We gotta get somebody in there right away.
Okay.
I mean, the carpenter did repair the roof a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
before he passed away. So it's possible that that's old, because I said something to Peter, he goes, I never noticed it. Neither did I. We just happened to be standing there talking, and I went, what is that?
Yeah, it's
Right.
been there a while, and, yeah.
Well, that was the section of the roof he repaired.
Okay, so we'll do a work order.
Yes, we need to do a work order,
Okay.
And,
probably to Paul.
and that is done by the town, not by us. And it's in terms of finances.
Yeah, that's why we gotta inquire with Paul. I think Paul's the one we need to go to now.
Yep.
but I wanna make sure it's their budget, not ours.
He has a small budget for buildings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not our expense.
We'll see.
Okay, thanks.
We'll see.
No alcohol signs, they need to be put up.
Did they come in?
Yeah, they've been
Where are they?
in the office.
I didn't see them.
New sand and volleyball courts, Jamie will probably do that in the spring. Repair bocce ball courts again in the spring.
So that wasn't done this year? The sand?
It was not.
Was
They had
supposed-
already paid us for this year.
They paid us for this year?
They paid us for this year, right?
I didn't think they
Volleyball?
did.
I thought they did.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think they did.
Oh, okay, all right.
Repair bocce court, they'll probably do that in the spring. Footbridge behind Loon Pond Lodge, Paul was supposed to work on it this week, I don't know if he had a chance to do that. Fascia boards at bathrooms, he has
Footbridge.
not done.
Footbridge behind
The
the wall.
bridge that goes from the door of the Loon Pond Lodge to the gazebo,
Oh.
the board's rotted, so the bridge dropped in one of the corners.
Oh, no kidding?
Yeah, it hasn't dropped any further, but it's like an inch. So I
Oh.
think everybody's been okay so far, but you know, you have
No, you
the
gotta take care of it.
brides walking across and they're high heels and everything,
I
so
would put
you
in a work
don't.
order to Paul for that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, he's supposed to, that's already been done. He's just gotta find time to do it. Okay, 12, capital project updates.
Michael Smith,
That's you.
okay.
You skipped over a couple.
Did I?
Yep, the last two.
Fascia boards, Paul has he just hasn't had time to do it, and 10 Williams Camp baseball hat
Oh, the baseball hat.
is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Paul gonna do it?
He hasn't had a work order for that. but-
Yeah, they're
I know,
so busy.
I know.
They will be at,
Trunk or treat, yes. Oh, that was another thing. See, I'm going off my thing. I would like to add to our current project list, I would like to add trunk or treat, but it's this week, so we don't need to add that. I would like to add the Eagle Scout project to our current project list, and I would like to add, Lakeville Day to our current project list. And I have something that I have to sign for the Eagle Scout project, so.
Did it get okay?
I think this is the application to go in to be okayed. So were there any changes or additions? I know we had some, but I don't think we've talked about them at a meeting.
Okay.
Changes to his.
Have we conferred with him about our feelings for changes?
No, because we haven't discussed at a meeting what those changes were with all of us.
Well, we should do that sooner than later because he's gotta submit
Right, so
something.
I have to sign this for him. So if we add it to our current project list, we can discuss it. Any big changes? I know one was, to move the bench from the,
Right, to move the bench the other way? To move the bench to face the fields or
to face the field, yeah,
so it would be between the flagpole and the road?
yep.
wait a minute. The bench?
Yeah, so he has this monument
Right,
and we have the road is here.
right.
And he had a bench, this is the monument, he had a bench going over here out.
But looking out this way, we thought we wanted it to look in towards the field.
Right.
did, but we want
So between
it-
the road and the flagpole?
Oh, you want it on the other side?
Or do you want it on the other side looking out?
No, I think we wanted it on this way so that it wasn't sitting out in the grass over here.
Right, I think that's, we're trying to keep it out of the field.
Okay.
Okay, was there anything else?
Was there a question about how large this should be and it,
He
something,
gave us a dimension.
I think there was something about tearing it up and
Well, I
changing the
think-
bricks and
was it something about wanting to keep the current
size.
Scout project that was there?
Yeah, that's why I'd be surprised if they allow it. But then again, you never know.
Well, I have the form right here. You can read it because it doesn't say anything about an existing.
No, I know, but when he goes to the council I would be
Project,
surprised
but-
that if they allow him to
Okay.
totally totally change an existing project.
But if there's new leaders and they don't know that the
So we'll have to
other
see.
Eagle Scouts did this, will they,
Right.
they will probably approve it.
Yeah, probably they approved the one that was there, so.
Right. Yeah. Okay, capital projects. Go ahead, Mike.
So I checked, asked into Tracy this week, the vendors list of, who we're gonna bid. It's Korea Fence, which is next to Del Rocco's. Down Home Fence, which is in Middleborough, works in Lakeville, and then of course Southeast Fence. So I redid the specs because we added more, 200 more feet, so it's 1,084, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And so I redid all that, so she has that. She's going to be calling them, sending them the specs, at which point she's gonna give me notice. We're gonna go down all three, whoever's interested in doing
Do a
it.
site visit,
So it'll be you, me, and Frank
Yep.
doing that, showing what
Right.
to do.
right, because they gotta have what, nine openings and two,
Right,
and
so-
two,
Right, which
Two
will be
gates.
explained to, I didn't put that in the bid because we don't know where they're gonna go. Well, we kinda know where they're going, but, because that's extra posts they're gonna have to put up,
it's an extra post they're gonna have to put
the
in.
next post they're gonna have to put in. So we're
This
hoping
is
to get that done.
Down in Northfields.
Oh,
Can you spray paint where they're gonna go? That way you can see, if you go down and spray paint and say, this is where I want one, and then you'd be like, yeah, no, maybe I don't want it there, and I
well,
want it over here.
the reason I'm not doing that is because we want their ideas where they think they should go. Now, I know where the ones I wanna go, that we'll stake it when,
I mean, currently over in these fields, they're approximately 150 feet apart. From when you go from the gate over near the karate, you come, and then it's 150, and then it's 150, and then 150.
And that's where you got your 9 from?
And we actually
With the double
cut
gauge.
it down to more like 100 feet, because what we're talking about is there's going to be a square in the middle.
Yep.
Where we can put picnic tables, some grass, what have you. So we're gonna have a couple openings there and a fence to get in there. If we put a porta potty or the bathroom or whatever, there's gonna be access to it for the truck. So there's gotta be a fence there. I mean, a gate, and at least a couple openings. And then, you got 884 feet of fence at 100 feet a pop. That's 9 openings. So
So-
that's kind of where we get the.
yeah, so that'll happen. And then I talked to Clancy today, they just approved Tom signed it last week and the town just approved it. There's a certain payment structure, so that's working out. He's gonna go down there next week and start doing the drainage first before he does anything else. And then,
I gotta get him a key.
and then a bunch of us are gonna get together. It's gonna be you, me, Frank, Mark Resnick, and, oh my gosh, just like a building inspector.
Nate.
Nate, so we'll be down there, because Mark and I spent an hour there today, and, we talked about that 100 by 100 section, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We can't grass it, because the idea is, you and I, the reason I was gonna discuss this was to talk to you about it, but if you wanna bring it up now, I'll tell you what we discussed.
Please.
So, as Melissa brought up, there has to be handicap accessible, okay? There's really not much that we need to do to make it handicap accessible. And the ideas is that we're going to flatten that ground there, okay? Well, the whole place is gonna be flat, but where the 100 by 100 is, that has to be the same level, it's gonna be flat, okay? We're gonna have to crush stone or whatever's on there. If we plant grass, then we gotta worry about a walk because of the wheelchair, okay? If we don't, then we don't have to worry about a walk. So we'll have the picnic tables and we'll have the porta potty there, okay? So, and the other idea is, my idea is the bleachers will not go on the other side of the fence. The bleachers will go on the side of the fence where the parking lot, so it's flat. Okay, because if you look, On the first part is a slope.
The swale, all the way
We-
around it.
We don't wanna deal with that. We don't want kids running down, we don't wanna get any hurt, okay?
Well, the swale is for drainage.
Right, but so, we don't want bleachers over there. Okay? We have to, I think it's better if we put the coach's sideline this way and obviously not on the other side. So, for us to not run into any more money or doing whatever, we would have that handicap zone. Nate and I are gonna get together next week about the parking, okay? There's no issues with having a trail or anything, as long as the ground is, that's why I'm gonna talk to Clancy, it's gotta be straight flat, okay? It's crushed stone. So we won't have to worry about a pathway or any tar or anything like that. There'll be no ramp to get into there. And if we don't, once we open up the gate for people to go in there, then we're gonna have to worry about handicap accesses to get to the bleachers inside. But if the bleachers,
I'd put the bleachers outside the 100 by 100.
right, that's what I'm saying.
Right at the
Yeah,
end,
yeah.
right at
So-
the end of the 100 by 100 on both
Perfect.
sides.
So what I'm saying is that it's going to be it's not gonna be inside the fence, it's gonna be outside the fence. So that the person in the wheelchair can just wheel right over.
Yep.
So the whole thing will be handicap accessible without us having to build anything. So, I got all the forms from the handicap stuff, and so we're gonna talk so when Clancy goes down there, before he does everything, we're gonna explain him exactly what we're gonna do and how we want it. But we can't plant grass, otherwise we're gonna have to worry about walkway. So, we'll have that talk, but this way we can make everyone happy and it's legal. So that's what I sat down with Mark and that's what we talked about.
So in 5 years, when the grass grows in, are we gonna have to dig it out?
What do you mean the grass goes in? We're gonna put that tarp on the top so that no weeds come through. So that's going to happen. I'll let you know, Scott,
Yep.
so Clancy's gonna get a hold of me. I'm gonna go down next week when he starts the drainage ditch, and see how that's going. And just go over everything one more time.
Yep, I know, I gotta give my key. I
Yeah.
get an extra key.
Mike,
Yes, ma'am.
can you come to your mic, please, to talk?
Oh,
Thank you.
I'm talking, that would
Was
be.
that what you wanted?
He's always complaining about it.
All right, so any questions about the North Fields? Any other capital projects from you?
No, I guess, what I hear last night on the CPC that I guess they did approve the 25,000, but I guess they want us to bid to see if it comes in less.
Okay, that's complicated. First of
You don't have
all,
to bring it, I'm just asking.
no, I need to explain. Something was brought before the CPC.
Okay,
And it
I can
was-
stop you though, cause is that a capital project?
Well, it is if we're talking about doing engineering, paying for an engineering, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
It's
Like
just
a
that it was brought to the CPC and, with a quote, "It is not the business of the CPC
No.
to go over contracts.
No.
We are approving,
Funds.
or not approving whatever projects come before us. And so we made it clear that it was not gonna be up for discussion. However, I gave the information to Melissa
It's our
in
job.
terms of, this estimate that came in, which I have to say, the estimate came in from a company that never even went to the site. So, but that's down the road. When we
Right.
get to that, we'll look at that and
It's our
maybe things will change, but it's
Right.
not the CPC's
No.
responsibility
Right.
to go over contracts.
No,
And
no, I
the
never thought it was
CPC
that.
already approved
This
it and
girl
it's already on the warrant.
doesn't want
I
to
suppose they
use all
can
the money.
rescind it. I don't
They
know.
approved up to 25,000.
Which one?
Right,
I don't think it'll cost that.
and it's,
Well, that's fine.
up
Yeah.
to
But you
is the
can't
key,
overturn
right?
them.
Yes, can't go over,
Can't go
otherwise
over.
we have to pay for it.
Okay, shed news,
Oh, yeah.
yay, they started building it today. So the shed will be done probably next week.
Oh my goodness, I can't, they started it today?
Yeah?
I'm going tomorrow morning. I can't wait.
So Scott, as far as
Pull
capital,
forward.
as far as capital on that, we're gonna wait till the spring to hook up electric
To hook up the electric,
For the shed?
that's
for
fine.
the shed.
Yeah.
I'd rather
because-
not do it
As long as
now.
we still have the funds available, so,
Oh, no, we have them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we saved it, put it aside.
yeah.
And we,
She hasn't spent it yet.
I haven't spent it yet. That's next.
Well, we better take care of it real quick.
You better get it done now. There's a couple trees that were on trees have to come down. So one Frank can take down, and the other one we are gonna have to look into take down, unless fingers crossed it comes down this winter. But it's right, they're right next to the wires. They both of the trees are.
Oh.
So best not to hook up any wires
Yep.
until spring.
No, yeah.
But how
Would it be
is it,
under-
the shed can still go in regardless of the trees, Melissa?
Oh yeah, the shed's already yeah, they built the floor this
Okay.
morning, and the
Okay.
sides should have
It's
come in
just
one
the
piece.
electric is an issue with the trees.
Yeah, because we don't want the trees to come down. Like, I
Okay.
don't want to pray for a bad storm for the trees to come down and take all the electric for the whole beach down with it.
Yep.
That would be wrong of me.
Yep.
Okay, so the playground is the last thing. As much as I'd like to get it done, I'm gonna hold that till next week, and we're just gonna next meeting, and we're just gonna end. Unless anybody wants to continue.
Are you adding more to the playground? Is
No, it's
Okay.
just the,
it expenses?
right, so, alright, we'll do playground
You
quickly.
started.
So we did a site visit, seems like forever ago, 2 meetings ago, 3 meetings ago. And we walked the playground to see
Oh,
if
right,
we
we did,
wanted
yeah, yeah.
concrete or wall pavers and where we wanted it and what we thought we could do. But we've never discussed it because it was a site meeting, there was no discussion,
That's
we
right.
just did a
And we didn't do it-
FYI,
we didn't
we
do it in a
did
meeting
not,
here.
so right here. So, is there anything, I had brought to you 2 different quotes for cement and concrete walkways and pavers.
Right.
Is there any opinion whether we want to consider concrete or whether we would like to stick with the pavers?
I think
I think
that,
you need to bring both options to the table. Again, because we never made a decision.
No.
but we
can't make a decision.
saw, well, we saw the
Why can't
site
we make a
and
decision?
Is it on the agenda?
Capital projects is on the agenda.
To vote on the capital project?
No, I don't think I don't think it's something we need to vote on.
Are you making a decision? You're making a decision.
What are we talking about?
we're
To go
talking,
concrete or pavers?
Concrete or pavers.
and I think the pavers, was more aesthetic because there were already pavers there. And the concrete was not gonna look as good. The question is the cost. And can you repeat the cost again?
No, because I didn't bring
Oh, okay.
them all.
It was more.
So put that on the agenda.
Concrete was about the same as the pavers for the whole project. But okay, I thought we would discuss it, but no.
Well,
Because,
we can discuss it.
no,
but we just-
I guess I'm a little fuzzy still on what has to be voted on and what doesn't have to be voted on.
Anything that costs money.
Well, it's a
No, not
cap,
just that, it's decisions.
right, so,
I mean, some people might want cement, some might want pavers,
Right.
so we have to decide.
So
So-
we have to make the decision.
right, so when I took on this playground, you were like, it's yours, go do whatever. And I brought back as much as I could, and I've tried to collectively make as many decisions together as I could. So I'm asking you, instead of just making the decision, I'm asking, what is the pleasure of the commission, whether they would like to see concrete slabs or whether they would like to continue with the pavers. So that's something I brought to you. Nobody has brought to us from Northfield anything to ask the committee what our preference is for that. So I guess I'm asking what I bring to you, what I make on my own, what you bring to us, what you make on your own. Because there seems to be a discrepancy, and I'm not sure where that is, why that is, and how to fix that.
Well, as far as the North Fields go, everything was put out, the bid was put out, everyone got a copy of the RFP. We didn't go over that, until someone told us that we need an engineering project. We explained the fence, we didn't have to vote on that because everyone was explained to what the fence was gonna be, and that we needed the fence, and what we were gonna do with it. So that goes to Ari, but we didn't make individual decisions on anything that's
On the fence.
colors and stuff like that. We just said, we were told by the fencing company that if you're gonna put it up and put it good, it was gonna be that great fence, in which we all knew, but it wasn't a vote on what kind of fencing was in. It was to say, since we have the money, let's get the best fence possible, which we all agreed on, but we've never made individual things that was outside the scope of what we did down there. Scott, do you remember doing anything?
Didn't we vote on what kind of fence and all?
Yeah, we did discuss that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we vote on a black fence?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
That was brought up, but
Okay.
I don't know, I think Melissa, when we talk about, when you took over and did everything, to me, it was an issue that the things that you brought to us were the equipment and what company to use, and we looked at price. We looked at what to do for landscaping as far as mulch, which you brought up. But I think when it came to, so there wasn't really anything that we needed to do. And this thing with the pavers or stone, to me, the only issue with that, I don't care what we do, is the cost portion of it. If you brought, this is for pavers, this is for stone, I don't care. What can we afford, what can't we, and where's the money coming from? That's all the only things that we need to know and vote for. Anything that has to cost money outside the scope of the project, which I think the pavers and the stone are outside the scope of the ARPA funds.
Okay, so when we're deciding what's gonna go, where the bleachers are gonna go, so we're gonna discuss about bleachers and what's going in this 100 by 100 square foot area. We're gonna discuss that as well.
Well, we did discuss saying, once again, that's not outside the scope. We're not spending any money. We said that we needed an area where picnic benches were gonna be, and for the porta potty. The thing that I discussed was the handicap stuff, to see what's doable and that we follow the rules and where the holes are gonna go. But once again, that's not outside the scope, nor is it a money issue. So,
Why would it not be? Aren't you paying for bleachers and,
soccer's gonna be taking care of that.
and is that a decision that we made together?
Is it a decision we're gonna make together?
No, she's wondering if a decision was made
No,
that we'd accept
Put it
maybe
this way.
the soccer's donation, I'm not sure.
No, put it this way, we're not gonna be paying for the bleachers. If soccer wants bleachers, they're
Okay.
going to pay for them.
Thank you,
That's what I'm saying.
okay.
We're not gonna go, we want these bleachers, whatever. It's soccer's field. I mean, if soccer wants to supply stuff for them, you buy it. We're done spending money
Okay.
down there.
All
We're
right.
not spending another penny down there.
Okay, so that's off our back. But in terms of the playground, I think we all looked at everything. It's just a matter of, everybody has a preference, and I thought that the pavers looked nicer than,
Concrete slabs.
yeah, because the whole area is pavers. What did you think?
I said that then. I know we can't make a decision then, but I
Yeah.
said I preferred the pavers if we could afford it.
Yeah,
That was my
Okay.
comment.
so we're now, yeah, I think we all like that, but the thing is, what is the cost between the two? And I think once we have that, we can move forward.
Right, so I had those for the last meeting that we discussed it on. I do not have them
Yeah.
tonight,
I
so
remember
we'll
you
have
saying
to, adjourn.
Just one,
No, there's one more thing to take care of on the
Yeah.
Our
agenda.
next meeting date?
No?
No.
The
Peter.
clerk's schedule.
Oh, the clerk's schedule. Peter, you were gonna let me forget. You were gonna have to work more hours.
yes.
He's gonna work more.
Number
on us.
13, Peter would like to cut his hours for the slow winter months.
I think that's up to the chairperson. I don't know.
You're gonna be twice as busy. If you got nothing to do, so we're just gonna be bugging you.
That's my decision.
I don't think so.
Well, it's really not a cut,
You're just trimming
It's
office
just-
hours.
just trimming, yeah.
It's what?
He's
Just
trimming his
just
office
consolidating the office hours to 2 days a week instead of 3. Basically, that's what it comes down to.
You're doing,
If the chairman's fine with that, then
you're
then
still
that's good.
doing 12 hours, you just not doing it in the office?
Well, I'm just averaging, it's probably gonna average about 11 hours, but then I've been averaging more than that earlier, so it all
Yeah.
averages out, so.
You got a system?
It balances. So I guess the chair has to.
Yeah, I already told him I thought it was fine, but we
Okay.
wanted to make sure that it was something that I could make that decision on.
You did a good job.
So, you're all set, Peter?
Right.
Okay, now can we adjourn? 9 o'clock. And next meeting is November 2nd, the first and third Wednesdays here. Right, unless something comes up and we need to meet.
Wednesdays.
Not Wednesdays, sorry, today's Thursday.
So November 2nd. And what other date in November?
Well, the next one would be the 16th,
Okay.
I believe. Somebody can,
Yeah.
you can check.
Okay.
But it's the
As long
first
as-
and third Thursdays we decided on, so that we could have them here,
Yeah, Thursdays, yeah.
so that LakeCAM could take care of us. And I can watch these meetings later and go like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Okay, 9:01, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.